Hello everyone, my name is Abdullahi Farah. The topic I chose for my project is Zero Trust Architecture. I'm doing this project / presentation for my computer security course. My instructor is Jennifer Grant. A quick disclaimer, I'm not liable for any damages caused by the information taken from this presentation, as well as that this presentation is for educational purposes only. Zero Trust is a security framework and a mindset that challenges the traditional security approach of trust but verify. So instead, it operates on the principle of never trust, always verify. So instead of solely relying on network boundaries or parameters, Zero Trust requires continuous verification of the identity and security posture of users, devices, and applications attempting to connect to resources. So some of the principles of Zero Trust: verify explicitly, least privilege access, assume breach, and the encryption of data, as well as its protection. So Zero Trust emphasizes the protection and encryption of data both in transit and rest to ensure that even if a breach does occur, sensitive information remains protected. So assuming a breach is never assuming that the network or the resources are safe, but that they could always be at risk. And least privilege access means that for every individual they get the bare minimum access of what they need, so that if they get compromised, no information, no important information, or at least all of the information is not lost. So verify explicitly rather than assuming trust based on location or network. Zero Trust mandates continual verification of all entities trying to access resources or systems. So users, devices, applications, everything must constantly authenticate and prove their trustworthiness. So some of the components of Zero Trust: identity and access management, micro-segmentation, and continuous authentication. So identity and access management, it forms the cornerstone of Zero Trust and involves the robust authentication processes, authorization mechanisms, and continuous monitoring of user access. Micro-segmentation, so networks are basically segmented into small isolated zones to restrict lateral movement within a network. So if one zone gets compromised, it doesn't affect the rest of the network. Continuous authentication, so traditional authentication methods are replaced with continuous verifications of users and devices, and applications need to continually prove their trustworthiness throughout their interaction with resources. So identity and access management, one of the components, some of the challenges and solutions as well. So two challenges is managing diverse identities and integration and interoperability. So managing diverse identities, organizations grapple with managing a diverse range of user identities, including employees, contractors, and third-party vendors. Each category requires different access levels and permission. And for integration and operability, the challenge would be integrating IAM systems with existing infrastructure and application would pose challenges due to different technologies, protocols, and data formats. So the solution for managing diverse identities would be role-based access control. So IAM systems employ role-based access control to assign permissions based on predefined roles, streamlining access management for various groups. Integration and interoperability. So IAM solutions utilize standardized protocols and APIs to facilitate integration with diverse systems, ensuring consistent enforcement of Zero Trust principles. Micro-segmentation, enhanced security posture. Emphasizing limitation of lateral movement and mitigating breach impact are two parts of micro-segmentation. So micro-segmentation fortifies security by compartmentalizing the network into isolated segments, significantly reducing the ability of threats to move across the network. So by confining these potential attackers to specific segments, the impact of breaches is contained, preventing the widespread compromise of sensitive resources. And mitigating breach impact is limiting lateral movement within the network would greatly mitigate the potential impact of breaches, ensuring that even if a segment is compromised, the threat remains only in that restricted segment or zone or part. So some of the benefits of micro-segmentation: zero trust is granular control, precise access control, and isolation of sensitive resources. So precise access control provides precise granular control over network traffic and enabling organizations to define and enforce specific access controls for each segment. And isolation of sensitive resources: the ability to isolate sensitive resources within a dedicated segment enhances security by creating virtual boundaries around critical assets. So it minimizes the risk of unauthorized access or breaches by restricting access to these resources to only authorized and authenticated entities. So continuous authentication: some of the technologies and methods. So biometric authentication would be fingerprints, facial recognition, irises, basically anything that has to do with the human body. Now they even have an AI that can tell who the person is based on the person's movement. And there's so contextual authentication accesses the user's environment or context, such as device, location, IP address, or time of access. Any deviation from established norms triggers further verification. So another one is device profiling. Continuous monitoring is also another one, and anomaly detection. And finally, it would be time-based authentication. Device profiling just means that the device that is accessing the resources as well as the network is the specific characteristics of that device, including its hardware and software and behavior patterns, are known. So this would be basically the company-owned devices. And continuous monitoring and anomaly detection would be continuous monitoring of user activities, network traffic, and system behaviors, allows for real-time anomaly detection. And time-based authentication would involve periodic re-verification of user identity at specified intervals during a session, regardless of the ongoing activity. So this ensures that even within an active session, users are periodically re-authenticated to maintain security standards. Data encryption, so protecting the data while on the move as well as at rest, and alignment with compliance standards. So encrypting data during transit secures information as it moves between devices or networks, safeguarding it from interception or unauthorized access. So alignment with compliance standards, so data encryption aligns with various compliance standards such as the GDPR. So it's serving as a fundamental requirement to protect sensitive information. Compliance regulations often mandate the use of encryption to ensure data security, integrity, and privacy, making it essential within a zero trust framework. So some of the real world usages: we have Google's Beyond Corp, Cisco's zero trust security model, Microsoft's zero trust architecture, and the Department of Homeland Security's zero trust architecture. So for Google, it's a notable implementation of zero trust. It moves away from the traditional parameter-based security model and focuses on securing access to resources based on user identity and device trust rather than physical location. As for Cisco's zero trust model, Cisco embraced a zero trust security model that emphasizes continuous authentication and authorization. It employs micro segmentation to create zones of control, which would limit lateral movement and reducing the attack surface within its networks. And for Microsoft's zero trust architecture, Microsoft has been advocating for and implementing zero trust principles in its security frameworks. It focuses on identity-centric security, leveraging Azure Active Directory and multi-factor authentication to ensure secure access to its services. And the Department of Homeland Security's zero trust architecture, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has adopted a zero trust architecture to bolster its security posture. And it aims to secure its networks by implementing continuous monitoring, strong authentication, and micro segmentation. Some of the use cases is secure remote access, protect sensitive data, mitigate insider threats, and adapt to dynamics. So continuous verification for safe external entry would be secure remote access, granular control, encryption, and monitoring for data safety, for protecting sensitive data, mitigate insider threats, so to validate identity, monitor behavior to prevent unauthorized access. And as for adapt to dynamics, would be accommodating changes in users, devices, and network conditions while ensuring the security. So a good example of zero trust architecture is the LinkedIn assignment we were assigned for our class. When you try to log in with your school email, you're prompted to do a two-step multi-factor authentication, which I will demonstrate right now. So when I put my email in and I put my password in, I'm not allowed entry immediately. So I have to go to the authenticator app on my phone, and I have to put in this number, the 82 number. So for example, if I put in the wrong number, let's say I put in 46 instead of 82, I'm denied access, and I have to retry again with the entire different number. So that's also part of continuous authentication, that the same number is it's not being used, but entirely different number will be used. So this time it's 25 instead of 82, and then I put 25 on my phone, and it says it's loading. Okay, it says I'm approved, I'm good to go, and I'm logged in. So this is a really great example of zero trust architecture.